In a time of chaos, the kingdom of Eldoria stood on the brink of collapse. Crops withered under the cursed sun, rivers ran dry, and enemies closed in from all sides. In desperation, King Alden, a mighty ruler with a heart burdened by his people's suffering, sought the crown of eternity, a legendary artifact said to grant its bearer ultimate power. Yet the crown came with a terrible price. It was guarded by Vaindrel, the last great dragon, hidden deep within the fiery depths of the Cavern of Ashes. The crown promised salvation, but no one who had entered the cavern had ever returned. Alden knew the dangers, yet he had no choice. He gathered his most loyal companions, Saren, his wise and steadfast advisor, and Rowan, a brave young knight with an unshakable spirit. Together they set out on a journey into the unknown. The path was treacherous. They crossed cursed forests where shadows whispered threats in the dark and braved scorched lands where the air shimmered with unbearable heat. The farther they traveled, the heavier the weight of their mission became. Alden began to feel a strange presence, as if unseen eyes were watching their every move. When they finally reached the Cavern of Ashes, Alden stood before its jagged entrance, feeling a surge of fear and determination. The earth was blackened, the air thick with ash, and rivers of molten lava glowed faintly within. This was no ordinary cavern. It was alive, pulsing with ancient magic. Inside, the trials began. The first was the trial of truth, a test that forced Alden to confront the ghosts of his past. The cavern twisted into a nightmare as he saw his greatest failures laid bare. Visions of his soldiers falling in battle, innocent villagers starving, and his people crying out in despair surrounded him. The weight of his guilt was overwhelming, threatening to break him. But Alden, with a deep breath, faced the truth. He accepted his flaws and vowed to learn from them. The visions faded, and the path forward opened. The second trial was even crueler, the trial of sacrifice. Saren and Rowan were trapped on opposite sides of a raging inferno, and Alden could only save one. Saren, with tears in his eyes, urged Alden to save the younger Rowan, who still had much to live for. Alden's heart broke as he made the impossible choice, pulling Rowan to safety while Saren vanished into the flames. The cavern echoed with Rowan's cries of guilt, and Alden carried the weight of another loss on his shoulders. Finally, Alden stood before the crown of eternity. It rested on a black stone pedestal, glowing with a light so bright it seemed to burn his eyes. The crown whispered promises of glory, power, and dominance. It showed him visions of himself as an invincible ruler, crushing his enemies and saving his kingdom with a single command. The temptation was overwhelming.